program. The sciences that are over at Lenny needs to be consolidated, identified, and they need modern labs to be able to operate given the student populations over there in the sciences. So there's a need to build one. The issue will be, where do you locate that in the campus? That is the decision.
And then back to my statement, if we are going to locate it, if you're looking at an open field and an entryway, then again, we're putting another big block construction right there in front, just like we have our one building, our one cement block sticking straight up in the air.
Yeah.
The way it was planned, that doesn't show here, is that there's going to be a main quad going underneath the building.
That was what I was getting to.
Yeah, going underneath the building.
Just as we were looking at for Alameda.
That's right.
With the parking.
It's the same thing that is going to be
back,
happening here, but it's not shown in this diagram.
Right, and again, that's what I'm looking at is, if we're going to be doing any of this, then we need to be looking at it again in terms of beautification.
Yes,
I mean, you have to give students a need to. I mean, first they look at it and they'll say, oh, well, I'm going to go there. Then they find out who the instructors are. We need to have something that invites them in. It needs to be not a solid structure right there. It needs to be, again, our entry, our landmark, our marked areas, as you suggested for College of Alameda.
Yes. And
one other question that I had, again, I'm real serious, Frank. I think you should really look at having all of the student services consolidated, because it's a missed opportunity. You're trying to make it more touchy-feely, student oriented, but then your main area where students are is off in the corner. And that's where the students are going to be coming all the time to that student services building, because that's where everything starts. So you have a given, you're going to get that student life if you have all of that centralized in one area.
And we've looked at both of those options for student services, and just, you know, it can easily backfill the library. The space number, the numbers work out, or it can be at Building A like we're showing it. Some of our thoughts in locating it at Building A were, you know, if that is your main entrance and it's really where new students are coming as they approach the campus. And then also the notion that, you know, if these are also business hours activities quite a lot of the time, if there are confidential, private meetings, conversations, appointments that are on the busy main social quad, we felt like uses that extend the day, that students are coming and going in groups, socializing in and out of classes, seemed like a slightly better adjacency on the main quad than something that a student might be coming for a private appointment with a counselor, for example.
But our students don't do that. Our students, they come and then they go. There's no reason to stick around. And with regards to student services, I mean, that's taking place inside. That's a
So,
whole
I mean,
private-
so then that would, I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of maybe then an additional reason why we thought to put it in Building A. We would want people coming and going and residing at the old library building as much as possible to keep that quad active. So we were a little bit concerned about the nature of the uses in the One-Stop Student Services Center, and that it would sufficiently keep that heart of the campus active. But like I said, the numbers would work either way. Both buildings could be well suited, and as the college considers where the priorities really are, certainly they could kind of flip-flop those choices.
And then I had one more question with regards to the new Learning Resource Center and some of the others. Are we considering shared usage on any of these proposed buildings?
No, not for the Learning Resource Center, because we've worked with the campus over time, and the general consensus is that the college needs a Learning Resource Center and library that will be strictly Learning's. That is the information.
No, I meant shared usage with other programs within Laney. I'm not talking about outside of, no.
Yes.
I'm talking about within Laney.
Yeah, those programs, Trustee Handy, will be integrated with all of the learning departments, particularly basic skills. And the notion is that, you know, a library is only good if you can read and write.
Right,
So part of the the notion of putting the learning resource centers to work with the 3,000 to 4,000 basic skills students that we have, but that they would also be open to so-called college level students who are needing tutoring in languages or chemistry. Right now, we currently do not have a language lab. There would be a language lab in the learning resource center. So that's the vision, is we to have that one-stop learning resource center or tutorial lab where students can go for academic help and support.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to just make a comment segueing from what Trustee Handy said and a couple of the other trustees on student-centered or student life kind of atmospherics. This is strictly a gut feel on my part, but it seems to me that at least in Alameda and Berkeley and to some extent in at Laney, the average age of the students have dropped pretty dramatically. And I think that's something that we need to, I know we're going off McIntyre's information, but I think that's something that we need to look at more. And if this is a continuing trend, and a lot of the basic indicators, not only in the state of California but nationwide, would argue in that direction, we need to put more weight on, if you will, the atmospherics for student life. The older students this was more work to them. It was an adjunct to their work, and we still will have that. But I think that one of the, in my mind, deficiencies that we have in all 4 campuses is a lack of student life atmospherics. I'd like to call on Trustee Hodge, and then I'd like to shift to sustainability and stakeholder and community comments, because it is almost 5 after 8, and this program is scheduled to be completed by 8:30. Trustee Hodge?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I'm wondering, your plans, are they a consensus of data-driven information from students? Because I hear everyone talking about what students want, but I'm wondering, is this data-driven? Because otherwise, it's based off assumptions.
Trustee, a lot of this is driven off the McIntyre report, which was student-driven, community-driven. It was based on external scans, census information. A lot of data was put into this, and that was the basis for a lot of the master planning, both in education as well as in the facilities.
And how long ago was that?
It was just done recently.
Recently?
Yes.
So then, strategically, this is data-driven, right?
Yes.
Okay, because it sounds like this is based off assumptions. So if we could kind of incorporate into that, saying that this is actually data-driven, I think we can kind of avoid some of the questions.
Okay, with that, I'd like to thank all of you for a very professional presentation tonight. It was very informative and very meaty and moved along very, very well. At this point, I'd like to go into sustainability.
Yeah, thank you. As you are aware, the district has been undertaking sustainability on various dimensions, which includes energy, master planning, solid waste, and water usage, water efficiency. At this point, I'm going to call on Adan Rosela from Chevron. So please correct your agenda there. You have GRESS, that should be Chevron. Chevron has been working with the district in the area of sustainability. So Adan will make a brief presentation to give overview of what we should expect as a district as a way of recommendation over the next 5-10 year period. Adan, please.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. In the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about energy and sustainability. We also call the master plan just to stay with the topic, with the theme. Our sustainability and energy master plan is pretty much based in policy 2.40 that the board approved back in 2007. This is a brief summary of that policy. as major points here, in 10 years, you recommended or you want to achieve a 100% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. In greenhouse gas emissions, we will be using